Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a review on the new Patrick Ta blush palette. It's actually blush and highlighter, which is very exciting. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're doing swatches, comparison. I have all the other blushes from here, so we're going to just compare and see if there's any dupes or if you could just skip this. So grab yourself something to drink and let's get started. This bad boy, I think it's $58. I got it from Sephora and this is it right here. The packaging is a little different than the last year's. This is how they look. One's like blinding you and full of fingerprints, and this one's just kind of smoother. I will say that I feel like the left one feels heavier and almost more luxurious, and this feels a little lighter. Yeah, I think so. I personally really like this kind of packaging, even if it has all the fingerprints, because for me this maybe feels a little cheaper, but no worries. I don't care that much about the packaging. But here is the inside. So you get two blushes, two powder blushes, two cream blushes. We know Patrick Ta's formula, he always does this, and then two types of highlighter, a cream one and a highlighter, or powder highlighter. So this is a close-up of the palette, and you know, I think online it looked much more muted than in person. So here are some swatches. And it seems like that highlighter, the cream one, is like a clear base highlighter. So a lot of brands do these, Tom Ford, Makeup by Mario. It's just kind of like a balm. Now, I personally absolutely love that texture. I'm very much into that kind of clear, wet looking highlighter. I don't really like powder highlighters, but a lot of people, it's probably going to be a turnoff, honestly, because we've seen this over and over again. And if you like powder highlighters, you're probably not going to like the balm highlighter. And if you like balm highlighter, you're probably not going to love an intense powdery highlighter. So those are just like initial thoughts on it. I'm happy because I love this kind of formula, but we'll play with it and I'll let you know what I think. So here are the two palettes side by side. Maybe I should turn this one around. There we go. So to me, this looks like just a lighter version of last year's palette, and just probably more suited for light skin tones. Now, I personally haven't used this palette a ton, except this bottom one right here. I definitely have been using that, and I love the color. But since then, he came out with individuals of this, which is exciting. So overall, this palette was just a little bit too intense for me, more suited, I would say, for medium to deeper skin tones. And that's why I haven't reached for it much. Again, I have reached for this, but because it's in this big old palette, I'm less likely to reach for it. But this one, I can see it working better on my skin tone, maybe a little deeper and a little lighter, but I'm not sure if it will be suited for like deep skin tones. So these are the blushes that I own from him. This is She's Blushing, one of my favorites. Do We Know Her? And She's So LA, probably my favorite. It's kind of hard to choose between these, but I'm trying to see if there's any dupes, and I don't really see any that are similar. Initially I thought maybe I just made a dent in my blush. Squish that down there. So I initially thought maybe this one and the middle one would be dupes, or like close to being dupes, but they're not. One is very just light and peachy, and then the other one is more corally. However, this is the this one, what's it called? Do We Know Her? This like cream is kind of similar to the powder of the new one. Let me swatch that one a little bit better. It was just showing up. So the powder is definitely very different. This is orange. This is more corally. But the cream one, there's a difference, but you know, they're similar enough maybe. But besides that, I really don't see any other dupes that I have. Okay, enough with the rambling. Let's get started. So I was trying to think how I want to do this. And I think I'm going to start with a highlighter, and I'm going to put one highlighter here, one here, and then probably combine it, just because we all know the formula of Patrick Ta. The cream gives you this beautiful glow with it from within, like healthy skin. And if I put that and the highlighter on top, you probably won't be able to really tell what the highlighter does. So this balm one, I'm going to take it with my finger, and I'm going to apply here. So there's a slight shift. I'm actually going to take a beauty blender. This is dry, and try to see if I can apply it with this. That's how I do with my Tom Ford Shaded Illuminate highlighter, and it's like the prettiest highlighter ever. So yeah, this is pretty much has no actual pigment to it. It's just a clear balm. And I like it. Is it anything revolutionary? Absolutely not. We've seen this over and over again. But it could be a good base for the next highlighter as well, which I will do after I apply the highlighter here. But yeah, this is the clear base. Okay, let's move on to the actual highlighter. Let's see if is it glittery? I feel like it has some texture in it. It's a little bit, I don't know, maybe texture is the right word. Okay, let's apply this. What's my hair doing? So, okay, I think from far away it looks pretty, but from close up it's just not me. I don't love this. I think it's quite textury, and it's almost sitting on top of my skin. I'll try to zoom you in as close as I can so you can see. What I'm going to do is take this Refer number 18 and just kind of buff in the highlighter. Take a little bit more and then try to actually buff it in. Because sometimes the highlighter is just sitting on top of the skin because I didn't work it in enough. And this is the Wayne Goss airbrush, and it's very light, so it's kind of harder to work in the product. Yeah, it's still not for me. I don't tend to use these kinds of highlighters. It's the texture of it. Like I knew right away when I was swatching it that this is just too much for me. And it almost like it's powdery. Maybe it has some glitter in it. It has some micro glitter in it. Probably that's what I don't like. I'm actually gonna take this base and put it on top and see if that will help it. Like almost melt into my skin more. Actually think that's better. I like that so much better. I feel like it melted that highlighter into my skin. It almost like melted the glitter and the texture, and it's becoming one with my skin. I like that better. I still don't love it. I think I prefer it just simple, like just the balm, rather than combining them. But it's not bad. What do you guys think? I think if you like a powdery highlighter, you may enjoy it, because I do think the texture is a little different. Like it's not like straight up powder. It's almost like it's baked, but I don't think it's baked. It doesn't have a ton of fallout. So yeah, I actually, now that I keep looking at it, I like the balm on top of it quite a lot. I probably would wear it like that. Moving on to the blush. Okay, so these seem to have quite a pickup. They pick up a lot and quite a lot of fallout. Like it's much more powdery than the last year. I'm gonna take some off because a lot came on the brush, and let's build it up. I'm going slowly. I wonder if I have that balm there that it will catch on top of it. Probably. That is a beautiful color. I'm taking this clean brush and just blending it in. Probably take just a little bit more. This is a Real Techniques brush, and the one I used before is the Angie Hot and Flashy from BK Beauty. And I like them both. This is a little bit more dense, so it applies more, and this is like fluffier, and it spreads the product a little bit better. Okay, so, okay, I love that color. It is definitely a cool tone pink. It's much more wearable than the one, for me at least, than the one in last year's, and I like it. I think it is absolutely beautiful. It is actually quite pigmented, so don't really get fooled. So I don't know, maybe deeper skin tones could wear it because the color builds on itself quite a lot. But that, for me, so pretty. Okay, my favorite part is taking the cream and putting it on top. I'm taking this, like I said, Real Techniques blush brush, and it's great for cream blushes. So I'm gonna add this. Ooh, okay. That is absolutely stunning. There's something about putting that cream on top of the powder that makes this formula so good. Like, Patrick Ta has done just an amazing job with his blush formula, and I think he's just known for that because of it. I mean, look at that. And we know there's a highlighter there, but there's not a ton here, so we'll look on that side in a little bit. But yeah, oh, I love this. I feel like the second you put that cream on it, almost like it melted into the skin, kind of what it did with a highlighter. Like, it looked pretty before, but like once you put that cream on top of it, it almost became one with my cheek, and it's so blended in and smooth. I love this. Moving on to this color. This is like a peachy coral, and like a lot picks up. Like, I need to take some off. This is a BK Beauty 103. I'm trying to get better at telling you guys what brushes I use. And let's put this on. This reminds me of the Gucci, like the peachy one, the corally one. I feel like they're very similar. Honestly, I actually like this better. Like the color. I really like the color. It's still quite intense, and yes, I've been building these blushes up so you guys can really see on camera. Usually I probably would just tone it down with my like foundation brush or something, but I really like this one as well. This one has more warmth to it, and this has more cool tone, and I think they're both beautiful. They are different enough too. It's not like you have two that are very similar. Very pretty. I cleaned this brush just because it's my favorite, and I think it works so well with these blushes. And I'm going to take the cream blush. This definitely makes it even more intense. And again, like before, I love this texture. It just meshes into my skin. I do think there's a difference with the highlighter. Like, it's definitely more intense on this side than here. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this one. Put it on top here. And I'm actually going to add the cream on top of that. Okay, so these are the two blushes. The pink one, which is called Giving Glossy, and this one is Giving Sun-Kissed. So what are my final thoughts? I personally really like this palette. I think I prefer this one over last year just because I can use every single shade there. I will say I almost wish I had one more mauve-y or deeper brownie color. Just like something like this, just a little bit more muted rather than like one pink, one corally. I mean, I like him, but I feel like though the other ones are my like go-to formula, go-to colors, I'm sorry. I think because it's also fall, winter, I was wanting to see something a little bit more warm or deep, or something that reminds me of like fall, winter. These, to me, they remind me of summer. Like, this palette is very summer appropriate. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna wear it in the fall winter, but I just feel like this could have been a great summer release. And I was hoping to see maybe, again, more of those tones that I enjoy. Like She's So LA. This one right here is absolutely my favorite. And then She's Blushing. Those two are like some of my all-time favorite blushes, to be honest. And I was kind of like hoping maybe that like middle shade, Giving Sunkissed, that I was hoping, at least from online, that maybe in person it was less like neon-y bright and just a little bit more muted and smokier. Even though I knew it's gonna be light, I was just kind of hoping I would get more that vibe on the skin. But to me, these look very summery. Now let's talk a little bit about the highlighter. I kind of wish I had another blush. I don't love it. I don't hate it. The balm one I already have, that balm formula, and many other highlighters, so I wasn't really looking for another one. And it's so soft that for example, my Tom Ford one from the shade Illuminate, to me, gives me a little bit more. This gives me almost nothing, just that kind of wet look, which it's pretty. I like it, but I didn't need it. And this highlighter, I could do without. Like, I just don't love powder highlighters. And if I do, they have to be extremely finely milled, that blend into the skin and you don't see any texture. And with this, I was seeing texture. I literally just coughed my brains out. Now I look even more rosier because my whole face turned red. So those are my thoughts on the palette. I prefer this one over last year because it just works better for my skin. I think I'm gonna get a lot of use in the spring, summer, or if I really need a beautiful, like more cooler undertone pink, this is a great one. And again, the formula is amazing. I want to know what you think, and is this the kind of like blush colors that you use all the time? Are you excited, or after this video you're like, maybe this isn't the best one for me? I would love to hear all your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.